Welcome to Inside the Skev, and I'm your host, Aaron Masliansky. Today we have an incredible episode. We are way outside the Skev scope here, Evanston. We are in Bangkok, Thailand, and you may ask, why am I in Bangkok, Thailand, and why are we having a podcast here, being so far outside the Skev? Well, we're going to learn about why that is, what we're doing here, what we're learning, and who I have here. So I have some really special guests. Today we've got several people here from the Chicago Association of Realtors. We've got Michelle Mills Clement, who is the CEO of the organization. We have Maurice Hampton, who is the president-elect of the organization. And we have Mabel Guzman, who is the head of global counsel for Chicago Association of Realtors and is a past president of the association. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing here, how Chicago is involved in the world, and I don't know who wants to start us off, but why are we here in Thailand? I don't know.
I would like our CEO to kick it out.
Why are we in Thailand? I got that question so many times about why is Car going to Thailand?
Yeah.
Well, Chicago's a global city, and people think we're local. We shouldn't even be really leaving the city, let alone leaving the country. And so we're really here to find out about what is the market, what's going on in real estate in Thailand. And how can that be brought back to Chicago? How can we have shared investment opportunities? How can we have collaboration opportunities? But it's not all about sales,
Right.
So we've got, our association is a solid one, like all realtor associations, and we have the association governance model. And so we're bringing a lot of that here too. We've been sharing what our association works, how it functions, as well as things such as license law. There's no laws here. Anybody can sell real estate. So we've been doing a lot of education. We've been talking about a lot of the designations. So we've really been taking it a step further to see not just how do we look for opportunities for investments for both groups, but also how do we actually bring education both near and far.
Right. And, what would some of the benefit be to having other countries outside the United States having procedures and laws that are more similar to ours?
Yeah.
Well, for one, it brings confidence. Mm-hmm. Especially, let's think about foreign investment overall. In the United States, 25% of the transactions, which are closely approaching to 30%, are from foreign investment, right?
Right.
By the way, people from the United States are also investing overseas at a nice clip. And it's not only just residential, it's also commercial, it's industrial. So you're seeing our companies are no longer, U.S. companies, they're multinational companies. So we have to be able to work with our partners overseas, so then it's a shared benefit, right? So
right.
Then our members, when they come to Thailand, they actually have a connection with someone that they can work with. Moreover, this relationship really started because of National Association of Realtors, because they were looking for an ambassador association to work with our bilateral partner in Thailand, and we were selected. We said yes. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want to say yes in the manner of just in name only. We actually wanted to make the relationship mean something. So we asked them, what would you like to learn from us? What would you like? And so we followed, I think, their Thai service model, which we've all learned
is amazing.
Is amazing.
Yes.
So we asked them, what would you like from us? And they said education and license law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for people who are listening who are not realtors, you may not realize that realtors can refer clients to other realtors throughout the world, and we get fees for that. And it's a big part of the business. And if we have partners that are throughout the world, we can really be of huge benefit to our clients, where they may think that we're only on a small, very local level, but really we can help you. You want to buy something in California, you want to buy something in Bombay, you want to buy something in China, we can help put those connections together. So, we've been doing things like we had a great meeting with the Thai Real Estate Association, with their banks, the head people in their finance and their government, and we've been doing really learning. So Maurice, what do you think has been one of the biggest benefits to you being here and hearing those people speak?
Well, with this being my third time here in Thailand, and my dedication to global real estate, dedication to global real estate doesn't come from necessarily a fee structure. It comes from a corporate social responsibility, and it comes from a standpoint that I have a responsibility to my clients back home to ensure that their investments globally are protected. I don't want any of my clients to get on a plane and fly to Mexico, to fly to Bangkok, to fly to London, and meet somebody in a cab and trust them with one of the most expensive transactions that they're going to make, and a transaction that could go south, a transaction that could have a massive financial impact to somebody's bottom line.
Right.
In Thailand, this time around, we're learning about the vast developments and just how rapidly the world is moving around us. I remember the statistic that I continue to hear over and over and over now. By the year 2050, 2/3 of the world's population will live in a major city. Bangkok, Thailand is a major city in the world.
Huge.
And so if we are not tapping into these markets and we're not understanding these markets, we don't have the ability to protect our clients in our home market. And these clients also happen to be the ones that are 5 and 6 years old today that will grow and go into a global economy and work in a global economy and may need to come and live in Bangkok and have their assets protected as well.
Right. And you may not want to have all your eggs in one basket by investing just in the United States, and be able to diversify and have some kind of protection if the markets change. I mean, like we saw 10 years ago, I mean, obviously things changed a lot, but it wasn't as affected here in Thailand, after speaking with people who are professionals in real estate here, what they were telling us. So I think that's huge. And, I think also, the education is so key. And, what, the United States has to offer the world and how we've set that up. So, I mean, how can people from around the world take advantage of that from our knowledge base? I mean, what are some of the things you guys think about?
Well, the Chicago Association of Realtors has multiple entities. One of those entities is the Realtors Real Estate School. And so we have the opportunity to spread education around the world with some of our new innovative platforms, such as our online platforms, our webinar platforms, and our live web-based classes. We have the opportunity to host certification and designation classes all around the world and live virtual at the same time, so that somebody in Chicago can still interact with somebody in Bangkok without having to get on an airplane. I always hear that I can't get into international real estate because I don't have a passport, or I'm not ready to travel around the world. Well, you don't have to travel around the world. I live in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois is one of the most diverse cities in the entire country. And if you can't see that, then, this probably is not the right podcast for you to be listening to.
Well, it's more than that, too, because I think that when you think global, you also have to think about it at the local level as well. So 25% of my transactions are from foreign investment, right? Or people who have transferred into the United States. Now they want to make a first purchase. When I look at license law, which is really interesting, and then education, moreover, the Thai professional here wants that edge. They feel that we offer courses that they don't, that would give them a competitive advantage.
Right.
So that's why they're reaching out to us. On the license law side, it's about minimizing fraud. We're trying to get rid of it altogether so that there is a standard, so that people know this is a trusted individual. This is someone who was granted a license by a government entity, so that it's not just anybody. It's an individual that had to pass a certain requirement, take so many hours of education, and really interestingly enough, what I found out, that people who purchase here, especially they're from overseas, they want someone who actually practiced in the United States or has an understanding, so that they feel confident in the transaction. And the chairman of the Government Housing Bank, that's what their intent is. Because of the rapid growth in Bangkok, they don't want to get into like the Wild West. They want to put some controls in place where there's actually standards of practice, and that there's confidence in the market, especially from not only foreign investment, but from their own people. Their own people want to feel that they're being protected, that there is a consumer protection portion to this, and it really starts with, let's make sure that we can evaluate competency and that we have the right people engaged in this business.
Absolutely. And I think there's a tremendous opportunity for growth here. I mean, one of the things that I look at in Southeast Asia, being here is, you have these areas that have rapidly urbanized, and but you have so many connections from around the world to this airport. You have most of the world living within 5 hours of a flight here. Mm-hmm. And, we learned from the head of the commercial, who handles all the commerce for the U.S. Embassy, came and spoke to us. And he was talking about how they're building a high-speed rail throughout Southeast Asia, connecting all these countries, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, and, this area hasn't been tapped for its potential because of all the war that's taken place over the past century. And now it's peaceful. So I think that there's so much opportunity for people for investment. And another thing is, look at all the tariffs that are going on from the United States and China. And now I was reading today in Wall Street Journal where they're talking about how all these companies are shifting their productions to other countries in Southeast Asia to avoid the tariffs. And when you shift, you're not going back. So there's a lot of growth potential here.
And, the tariffs and U.S.-China politics play a role today. But this has been a trend that has moved forever, or for a very long time at this point. Mm-hmm. And it really all follows labor. It follows inexpensive production, and it follows a workforce that wants to work and they want to be able to raise themselves from one class level to the next class level. Thailand has such a unique location to Southeast Asia and the world that an inexpensive workforce, that China has just become not inexpensive anymore to produce.
Right.
And so you have people coming, businesses coming here seeking out that next opportunity. If you're a startup tech company and you're producing whatever widget, you need to produce that widget for as little as possible, especially over the first 5 to 10 years, to stabilize your business.
Right.
And also there's no infighting, right? So there's no tariffs here,
right?
So
good relationship.
They're like, they don't have to figure out the net benefit right there is they're not in a political fight. They don't have to worry about that. They understand that they can shift their business here and they're going to just stay okay. Additionally, when you look at the cost of living being so affordable here,
especially relative to the United States.
Exactly. How about retirement, right?
Yeah.
So people in the U.S., they're looking at their retirement dollars kind of shrinking. Their 401ks are really not as profitable. So they're saying, well, in those years, I don't want to have to live a less of a quality of life. So perhaps I go to Thailand. I come to, Bangkok, maybe Phuket. I go somewhere, but you know what? Those Social Security, that check that I'm getting every month goes maybe 4 times, stretches 4 times. I could, they could afford and live comfortably. Right. They don't have to struggle, and they don't have to put pressure on their own children to actually help them move forward. So we're seeing really, and that was one thing about our members in Chicago, they're like, we want more of this stuff. If I'm an independent contractor, I have limited funds, and when I retire, I don't think it's going to be here. Where could I go? Right. But it's not only for us, it's really for our clients as well. So it's about the expansion of taking that dollar and making it work for you, especially when you get closer to retirement age.
Right, yes. And you could live in some of these islands or in Phuket and live very comfortably and have a beautiful home. I mean, I went to Koh Samui before getting here, and my God, it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And they're building, there's a lot of real estate that's being developed there, so you can have new construction even. So there's a lot of opportunities, I feel like.
Sounds like Aaron's going to buy something.
Maybe one day. Bye, everybody.
I met a guy at McDonald's last night, same McDonald's. They don't have apple pie, though. They have a pineapple pie. Yeah. But we met a guy in McDonald's, and he was from Oklahoma. And he says that he moved over here just because of the cost of living. Mm-hmm. He works remote. He can take his computer and work anywhere in the world. And he chose to come here, really borderline cost of living. Right. As well as English is a primary language here. So he said, I can get over here, I can figure out how to speak the language, I can live, save more money and be able to do more for my family. And so he's been here, I think, for about 5 years so far. And I think you're starting to see a trend as there's more technology and more people can start to work remotely and just carry a computer. People are looking for opportunities to get out and get a different, experience in their life.
Right. I mean, even being here, I've been working on deals and things like that. Yeah. And, it's the world is so small with just having, this device, mm-hmm. and, you can be connected to somebody instantly. So it really changes the ballgame.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, I think we're really learning about why people want to be here by doing some of the cultural things. And, my God, it's been so much fun.
Amazing.
Amazing. So, I mean, Michelle, like some of the things that you guys have planned have been great, and the hospitality of the people mm-hmm. here. I mean, talk about that. I mean, some of the places that we've gone to. And
well, before I do that, I have to acknowledge one of our past presidents, Nancy Subranomny. She's originally from here, and this is one of the things she's wanted to bring us back to Thailand. And so she told us when we get here, she's laying out the red carpet.
Oh, she sure has.
And she indeed has. Also, Paul with
Susai,
he's the global liaison to Thailand as well, has laid out the red carpet. So when we came here, we knew there would be a cultural experience that we'd get to have a opportunity to partake in, but not to this level.
Right.
So Nancy has really gone above and beyond. Paul's gone above and beyond. We had a lunch today. We literally thought we might be just going to a restaurant where Paul's friend owns the mall. So he literally owns the mall. But it was a great opportunity to see what is one of the largest malls, and just it's been in existence for 20 years, and the family that owns it is the ones that are putting it. They're still managing it. So it was really, really exciting to see that. Some of the other things that we've done has really just been diving straight in. We rode elephants today. I mean, how many times can you say you've ridden an elephant? I've never have, and
me neither.
Very exciting to do that. We've also done things like go to the temple. We're going to a temple tomorrow, which will be one of the bigger experiences. But today we got to experience a temple in an area that used to be Thailand's capital and was burned down. So it's not just going, but it's also learning the history.
And seeing the ruins,
yes, and understanding the culture and understanding just what is life like here. Mm-hmm. And it really builds a connection, not just to the land, but to the people that are here. And so we have our counterparts here that are in the other real estate associations, and just having the opportunity to bond and connect with each other over these last few days has really been exceptional.
I just have to add, when we went to the market today,
and
they had the dancers for us,
yes.
and that
was amazing.
So fun. That was amazing. And those dancers are all the merchants.
Yeah.
So they all left their little booths to come and greet us and do this amazing song and dance with us and bring us out to dance with them. I mean, I was totally moved.
Yes,
totally moved, and above and beyond from what we really expected. And the programming, we have to give staff an amazing applause here, which Jakiva, Lee Joy, and Chris Anderson, because they worked really hard on the programming aspect, and with Nancy and Paul, and I threw a little bit in, I think, or something like that. But for the most part, I mean, it was, what was interesting was that we had a challenge every time, right? Can we overcome this challenge? And we did. So there was a holiday thrown in. Well, I don't know, it's going to mess up our meetings. And we're like, you know what, that's okay. We'll have some cultural immersion, and we'll just do the meetings.
Less traffic.
Less traffic. We'll just do the meetings, one at the beginning, one at the end. But in the middle, we'll actually get to know the people and know the country. It's called the Land of Smiles. And that's absolutely true. They're humble, they're kind, and it makes you want to be a better person, I think, just being here.
Yeah. I think it really does. I mean, and we have more things that are coming up, and we're going to the Grand Palace, and we're hearing from more people from who are involved in real estate here, and I just think it's such an amazing benefit to be here, and I'm trying to think of how do I take this back with me, and add it as a benefit to my clients and add it as a benefit to myself personally. I think just like eye-opening, new cultural experiences. And I mean, how do you guys intend to bring this back with you?
Well, we've been doing a lot of live streaming. We've been sharing on social media under the hashtag Car Global and Car in Thailand. We want to bring it back now. We want people to see what we're doing now. We want to start to build camaraderie around what is going on here, because it's not a vacation. We're not over here just riding elephants and enjoying time. We're really over here doing some work, and we want to start to share that now. In doing so, we've already heard back from members that say it looks like an amazing experience. I'd love to go over there. What is the market like? So we're starting the conversations now. I think it's up to all of us when we go back to continue those, to talk to your clients about what was your experience here, throw out a different destination. But then also the members of the real estate associations here, they're going to be in San Francisco. So we're already talking for the NAR convention. So we're already talking about how we're going to continue this and look at what can we do for thinking.
I know I'm being followed on social media, and as Michelle already mentioned, but it becomes more of the idea spark for other people.
Sure.
When you see someone that looks like you, that comes from where you come from, be it the small, large city of Chicago or the small, large state of Illinois, it sparks the idea that there is a little bit more. And, we've had so much dialogue around this table in the last several minutes about why we're here and what we're doing. But the one thing that I don't think that has really set in is the increasingly mobile workforce and mobile lifestyle that people live today.
Right.
And when we talk about our clients back home, many of our clients are downsizing from the suburbs. I know many of mine are. And their children, the millennials, are purchasing, but their mindset is much different. And from my experience, many of those have already purchased a investment property before they purchase their original single-family dwelling or condo or whatever they decided to move into. And so when we look at and provide opportunities for people to live the best quality lives that they want to live and that they could live, we're really hitting on something that is visionary and futuristic.
It is, yeah.
And it just takes a pioneer and others to see those pioneers, and they will jump on the wagon and they will come. We were at the Capitol today, the former Capitol that was burned almost to the ground in the Burma wars. And in this war-torn environment, there was so much peace. There was so much joy and happiness. There was so much life and rebirth. And that's something that you just don't see everywhere. My friend Mabel has also pointed out that as Americans from the U.S., we're still so young compared to the rest of the world.
We are.
We're in a place, and we saw homes that are 850 years old today. I mean, my great-grandmother's 101, and I thought that was extensive. And now, trying to wrap my head around 850 years. What does the next 850 years look like? And will we be a part of that, or will we be innocent bystanders that just watch it happen?
That's really excellent, because you're saying America's a baby, compared to everything else. And, but we also talked about debriefing, that when we go back home, that we're just going to sit down and have a conversation and say, how do we continue this relationship? We gave them what they asked for, which is education and license law, like the seeds to be able to start something. Now, what more can we do? And then on top of that, take this information and then distill it in a way for our members and then for our clients, but then also for our city, our legislators, and say, hey, here's some things that perhaps you can do. First of all, I thought it was really fascinating. It had low-income housing, but then also mortgages. But it was really for people who work for the government. So what ends up happening is they have units that are built specifically for them, or they can purchase, and they have a loan product, but the mortgage is deducted from their salary, right? but they have a 1/3 principle that you can only use 1/3 of your income, which we kind of we do in leasing in the United States. That gets applied to your home purchase. So what they have is workforce housing, as we call it in the U.S., but they're doing it quite differently, where they're saying, okay, we want to increase home ownership here, so let's work with a workforce that essentially, when you work for the government, you really never quit, right? You always stay in that job.
Right.
It's the same thing in the U.S.
Yeah.
They stay basically
Yeah.
forever. It's a stable position. So it's like, how can we do that? How can we recreate the same thing here? I don't think sometimes the best ideas don't necessarily have to come from you. They can come from anywhere. And I thought that was kind of like a thoughtful way. And then even companies to look at it and say, maybe we can develop workforce housing and then do something like this.
Well, one thing that I thought was really interesting, we asked the person from the Government Housing Bank, what is your default rate? How many people go into foreclosure?
Yes.
He said less than 3%.
Right.
4%. He said
4%
across all total loans.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
loans.
that's amazing.
That's so low, and because people can afford it, and they make a program that works. And I think that, I think one of the great things about the United States is the fact that we have people from all over the world coming together. And it's those mixture of ideas and cultures. And I think you really get to understand, once you're abroad, of being the foreigner, how we should appreciate the people coming from everywhere, because that's how ideas germinate. That's how you get better.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the, from my perspective, one of the great things about doing a program like this and being involved in global real estate and bringing people from around the world to the United States, whether it be to live here in the United States or to invest in the United States, and vice versa, and germinate those ideas.
Can I throw a question back on you?
You certainly can. Yes.
Kinda
It's
sparked
not usual that happens, but go ahead. Yeah, it's
so,
fine.
as a CAR member, what prompted you to join us, to even sign up to attend the global transition in Thailand?
I'm glad you asked. So I've always been interested in just global studies, and when I was in college, I thought either I was going to go into real estate development. I had done some internships, and I thought it'd be really interesting to do that. My grandfather was a developer, and his brother, so I thought it's a nice way to get into business just through that kind of. And then the other thought, was around 2003, was going to run up to the second Iraq War, and very fascinating to me. Everything had happened with September 11th, so the whole idea of what was going on in the world security-wise was totally on my mind. So I decided to take this class I went to the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and I decided to take this class on energy and security. And it was in this department that was all about, it was called ACTIS, Arms Control, Domestic and International Security. I loved it. It was so interesting. I shifted my focus for my master's, I was in urban planning, to international development. So I thought either I'm going to go into real estate development or international and move to DC. I got a job right away with the developer. It was really interesting, and it was a great experience. And then eventually I became a broker and everything. But I've always had that interest. And a few years ago, I got involved in an organization called the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, which is a great organization, think tank in Chicago, and I'm a young ambassador with them. And I've been trying to figure out, how do I pair this interest I have in global affairs and real estate? And somebody had told me to get into the Global Council and speak with Sharon Burrell at Illinois Association of Realtors. And then I started coming to the Global Council events at CAR. And then, Mabel, you told me about this trip. And I went to a CAR event, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. There's no way I'm going. And I'm like, well, maybe I should. And my wife was gracious enough to let me go. And, I thought, it was a great opportunity, and I decided to come. And I'm so happy I have. And, I just want us to try to bring in investors into, for instance, the Skev, Skokie and Evanston, or Chicago, and help people, do things around the world. And I want to be able to travel, and I'm able to run my business, remotely. There's ways to do it, and to be able to add a huge benefit to the people I know. So I think that's the long answer, but that's why I'm here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I have to say, some folks said, a lot were asked, right? Some were, it was word of mouth. And a lot of people actually said, oh, I opened the email. I'm like, thank God you opened the email. I said, remember, tell all the other, all your compatriots and everybody you work with, and everybody you've done a deal with, when they ask you about this, how did you find out about it? I opened the car email. So, open your email.
Open your email, people. Or check social media. You guys are really good at that. No, I think it's been great. This has been fun. I can't wait to see what entails for the rest of the trip. And I can't wait to see what other trips we do or different other benefits we do. So I think people should really get involved. If you have any interest in this, come to an event. I mean, why not?
Exactly.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Tons to learn.
Aaron, I got to give some credit to the staff. We have staff in the room here with us, but Jakiva Lee and Christopher Anderson are really the ones that kind of hit the ground running on this. I will be completely transparent. I was a little skeptical at first. Are we going to get enough people to go? Are we going to really, get over there and get what we're supposed to do? And they never wavered. They never wavered. But I just think that just really speaks to the staff in the member partnership. Mm-hmm. Mabel in the chair position and Jakiva as a staff liaison, they worked so closely together, and it became a vision that they both had. And it was a vision that was able to get executed from a staff and member perspective. And that's something I think we do very well at CAR. And it's something that allows us to have these type of shared opportunities, and we can, work together and develop something that's really beneficial for not just the members, but the staff too. Because, we're going back and we're already thinking about how do we, shift the way our education is offered to ensure we can bring everything that we have around the world. You know what I mean? How do we market beyond just CAR? So it's really helping us too. So it's been a great experience.
Yeah, that was the big pitch, because we had to sit down with the executive.
Yeah.
and when you're doing the ask, and it's like, I don't know, man. I said, but we also said, we're like, hey, if we're going to be Ambassador Association, we really need to take this seriously.
Right.
So kudos to our CEO and to the leadership team, Tommy, Maurice, Nikia, because they said yes, and then they made it a budgeted item. Our budget did get cut, but we still made it work. That was the
we have
thing.
26 people who are here.
Yeah. We
that's
were
huge.
sweating.
Okay,
so we were sweating it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said at first I was like, well, if we get 10 people, it'll be intimate. It'll be really good. And then it was like, well, we have this holiday in the middle. Okay, so we're going to have cultural immersion.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was like these little challenges, and then really pretty much came, June 1st, and it's like we're sold out, and we're like, seriously? And then
huge
there were like
success.
26 people. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And
this
26 people that are from across all barriers,
Yes.
across all access points. Just 26. It's not the regular, like you always say, you see the same faces. I mean, there's people I've never met before.
Yeah.
Which is great. And so there's a lot of opportunity to interact with different members, to talk, to make new connections that would not have happened.
Right.
And I've been asking people, like, what made you come? What made you come? A lot of them just opened an email. You know what I mean? So that's great to hear. But this has been something that has stretched beyond just getting on that plane. You know what I mean? These are connections that are now made.
It's a big step.
Yeah, and that is a long flight.
Yes.
So that is a big step. But
we are 8,700 miles away.
Yeah, big step. Yeah. But it's really just eye-opening, and it's been just a rewarding experience, I think, for everybody, just to feel so warm and have these new connections that I don't think would have happened without it. So I've already got some Facebook messages about different places we need to start looking at for the next trip. So we'll see.
I'd love to give some ideas too.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Well, and Aaron, again, none of this could be possible without the support of a strong CEO who believes in her team and who believes in her members. Without that, we wouldn't be here. There would be no success. There would be no overcoming the barriers. Somebody that is open enough to say, you know what, bring me your plan, bring me your presentation. Let's see if it makes sense. Let's see if we can make sense out of it. That open-mindedness is something that you don't see everywhere. And knowing corporate structures, I know that this is a major challenge in corporate America. So if there's CEOs that are out there listening, trust your staff and trust your members, and take a step that might be a little uncomfortable, but see where it goes.
And I think that's what you said perfectly. it's a relationship, it's a partnership, staff and members, right? So we have members who are passionate about this. You have no idea, right? So it's not about, quelling that passion. It's about saying, we're going to tap into it because you believe in it so much. And we're going to leverage you, and we're going to leverage other members who believe in this as well. Right. So back to Nancy, right? She said, well, this is my country, and I feel like I am the host. So she came on her own dime to do logistics.
Really?
Secured a sponsor for us, and every meeting we've gone to or anything she's gone like an hour earlier to make sure there's a podium, there's a microphone, that there's water. What are you serving as, like a little appetizer, just anything,
It's been perfect.
It's been perfect.
Yes.
I mean,
perfect.
Even the dance,
amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
She coordinated the dancers, and then Paul, which I don't know if anybody else has had this experience that we actually ate in a shopping mall with the owner, and they took a section of that shopping mall and set up like a restaurant for us to sit down.
And set up a whole screen to take photos and everything. It was custom for this.
And that shopping mall's been in their family for 20 years. And they've expanded it all through those years and modernized it. But they have a soccer field, football field, and they have a cinema. So they said, the men can go watch soccer and the women go shopping, basically. And the kids could go watch the movies. But they went from really basically having, it's actually 3 times the size that it was 20 years ago. So they've been expanding it. Think about that. That's really crazy. The other thing that was so cool was all the small vendors that were outside in their little booths. Yeah. They didn't see them as competition. They felt like, you know what, you have something to sell. This creates now a bigger shopping experience. We want you here.
Well, it's like the kiosk there in the middle of the mall. They're cooking food, like the traditional Thai food, right in the middle, and you're walking through. It's like, where have you ever seen anything like this? It's incredible.
It just makes it, and it's, and this is not tourists. This is the community really, like, shopping here, living here, and they're supporting this business. That they've expanded that much, and they're still looking to expand again. So that really says something about that.
It does.
And then supporting other small business owners, not seeing them as competition, but saying, we want you here. Why would I want to have you go over there, have you set up shop somewhere else when I can have you right here? Because you're going to bring people to me, and I'm bringing people to you.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everyone. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I am so much appreciative of you guys doing the podcast with me. We doing the,
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. We're doing the Facebook Live and putting it on, the CARS global Facebook page, and just the opportunity. I mean, this has been a trip of a lifetime, and I really hope to take a lot from it and utilize it for everything. And this is just fantastic. So I hope everyone got a lot of listening to this podcast and gives you the spark. Maybe if you're in real estate, gives you the spark to get into global real estate. If you're not, maybe you want to buy some. I can help you. But this is great. So thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hi, thanks so much for listening to this latest episode of Inside the Skev. Hope you enjoyed it. And just a reminder, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the Chicagoland area, specifically in Skokie or Evanston or Skevinston, go to my website at aaronmasliansky.com, or feel free to reach out to me at aaron@skevinston.com. And don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends about it. Thanks so much.